Two, one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jedi and Sith, space explorers and space conquerors. I am Johnny, writer and content creator for Level 1 Gaming. Welcome. And I, of course, am joined by the one and only, the legendary, the best streamer on the platform, Baron
Yeesh.
J67.
I
Baron, how
think,
you doing, buddy?
man, I'm doing pretty good. I think that's entirely too high a praise. But I'll take it. Let me make sure to turn my mic down. I think I'm hitting in the reds. But let's see.
But
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, no matter how many times I dispute when you said that to me, I'm gonna keep leveling it at you, my friend, because the best quote unquote has to learn from someone, right?
Oh Lord, yeah, that is true. Everybody has a teacher. I mean, we can get into philosophy talk one of these days, but that's something that I've always taken joy in is digging deep. Like, hey, so if this person is the smartest person on earth, who did they learn from? Like, who was their teacher? Were they truly self-taught? And then if they were self-taught, what information did they read in order to become, or what did they come across? What did they test? But that's just one of those weird things for me. What up, Flameser?
Yeah, the a quick thing on philosophy. I've always found it fascinating. Who taught no, not Beethoven, Newton about gravity? A tree.
A
So
tree,
anybody can be a mentor.
right?
No.
Wisdom,
Uh,
inanimate objects, life,
th
trees.
this isn't this isn't philosophy hour. This is Star-Crossed Gamers. And in the name, we talk about gaming once in a while. So, uh, tonight we're gonna be at least starting with a hidden gem, as you may see in the title, put out by Paradox Interactive, and that gem being Stellaris. Now, I know what you may be
Stellaris.
thinking. What is Stellaris? Stellaris is a 4X space game
Now,
used
can you break down what 4X is for those who don't know?
uh I used to remember all four: expand, exterminate, X something. But it's basically if you've ever played Civilization or
What
if
up,
at least
Flameser?
heard of it, that's the kind of game Civilization I'm sorry. That's what a 4X is. Like you start off small, you branch off in all directions, you meet people. You can either befriend them or destroy them. Uh, and this time we're doing it in space. And for the longest time, I will just say, Stellaris was a bit of a mixed bag for me because way back when, not on release, but back in the day, I used to really love Stellaris. Like, I would easily log like 100 hours or something, every like month or so, and I was just like, wow, this game is really good. And then they unleashed an update, right? That changed the UI, and I just could not get into it, and I was like, all right, peace. Um,
Let's
but now
pause
I'm
there.
back.
Isn't it crazy how one small tweak in a game can like completely take you away from it?
Yeah, because that's very true. But Paradox is famous for this because they always love to make things more complicated. Like, sooner or later, you're gonna actually need to be like college educated in Paradox games. And that's not even, I say that in jest, but I kind of half mean that. Like, if you've ever played Noble Viewer, any of the other games such as Hearts of Iron, Europa Universalis, they're not easy games to get into. I will just tell you that. Oh my gosh, don't even bring up Victoria too. You basically need to be like an actual like economics major for that. But no, we're talking good things. Stellaris, I got back into it most recently, about a week or two ago. And let me just say, like the spark was reignited for my passion for this game. Um, we last night, I actually got the privilege of showing off the game to a couple of the level 1 team here. And you were there, so Baron, if I may ask,
Hmm.
what was your impression of the game?
It is definitely, it definitely has a, what is it, a high bar of entry? Is that the phrase? Um,
Yeah,
you you have to kind of know what you're doing. There's nothing. It's a lot of tabs. When they say 4x, they mean it. It's definitely more than just a shirt size. They definitely mean it's a lot going on. But what was dope was the detail, because the version of Stellaris that Johnny was playing was a mod that had to do with the Star Wars universe. Now, from what I gathered from Johnny's very eloquent, I was gonna say shoutcasting, but commentary, is that a lot of the original Stellaris, the base version of Stellaris, took a lot of hints and stuff, or took a lot from Star Wars anyway, so it fit very well this mod. Now,
yeah,
I it would it be a game that I played? Probably not, because there's so many other games that I'm playing, and that's usually what the issue is. This is one of those games that I know I would, only way to be able to be successful at it is to spend a large amount of time in it, and like that, just dive into that world. So, but it looked dope. It's definitely heavy strategy and RPG.
yeah. And thankfully they have a pause button, so you can kind of just chill out and micromanage as you need to. It's not like a stress game by any means. But before I continue with that, I we completely forgot. Baron, what are we watching on screen?
So what you're watching here is me doing very random things in in New World. So at this point, I believe I'm like level 26, and I have my spear ability, and I'm legit tossing spears. And this ability, I wonder if they'll ever nerf it, or maybe it's just people haven't truly utilized it to its highest potential yet. But you can kind of launch a spear as far as you want. It's just a matter of like angles and dropping the spear right on top of the enemy and getting. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is something that is extremely fun to do. And then there's a perk you can unlock to make it to where when the spear hits the enemy, it makes them fall. So I'm legit like catching animals that are too fast because I'm hitting them over the head and they're collapsing, which I believe you'll see me do eventually in this video. Wasn't my best tosses, but yeah. So that's what we're watching, and then you'll, I believe you're gonna see us run a dungeon, the Amarine dungeon here, in a bit.
Got you, got you. Now, I must just say, are you the Chris Kyle of spear chucking?
Oh God, jeez. First off, I don't know who Chris Kyle is, but hearing spear chucking is freaking hilarious.
He was a sniper.
Ooh, oh, was he like the sniper from the movie?
Yeah, the sniper.
Um, I'll say this: I'm okay at it. I during the closed beta, or during the open beta, during a war, I was knocking people off their feet in battle. And I actually, oh, now that I think about it, you're probably gonna see me get into a PvP match and get washed, because
Oh
I didn't
no.
know it was a PvP match, and I totally thought we were getting ready to do the dungeon, and I didn't understand. I accepted a duel, and now I'm probably like complaining and crying, like, "Whoa, hey, whoa, whoa," and yeah, see, gotta get knocked down. Leg sweep, leg sweep didn't take on the first run, and I pull out my healing staff, and I'm getting ready to get washed, totally washed. But now I'm talking crap, and in my head I'm like, "Oh, I'm ready now. Like, you're not gonna catch me off guard. I ain't no chump." So here we go. Duel accepted. Duel started. I didn't even know who I was fighting. And I'm casting my healing, and then I continue to get washed. Hits me with a poison. I am getting washed. Yeah, complete destruction. So when it comes to PvP, there's a few things that are really Isn't it funny how DPS is always like that's everything. Like, and if you're not doing DPS fast enough DPS, you need to figure out a way to stun and whatnot just to get and then do heavy hitting. Well, the character I was going against, they were using a rapier, which is entirely DPS, and yeah, I was just getting my butt kicked. But we're off track. Back to Stellaris.
Yes, quite right. Um, when it comes to Stellaris, I will just say that it's a lot like Bethesda games, in the sense that the modding community not carries the game so much in this particular case, but they're very proactive, and more often than not, when you see content creators, unless they're covering new updates and new mechanics and stuff that are added to the base game, usually more often than not, you'd find them covering mods. And that is pretty cool. Like there is a mod out there. I don't know the name of it because I've only seen it in one video in passing, but you're able to turn moons and whole planets into like Death Stars. And not just that, but you combine them into one like space Death Star spaceship of multiple Death Stars. And as you can possibly imagine, it is as broken as it sounds.
I was about to say that
Um,
sounds pretty OP.
oh yeah, I mean like you're not going for game balance there, clearly, but yeah, a lot of
Now,
mods.
okay, now no. Let me stop. Let's put a pin there because for those who don't know, and I've been trying to convince them for the longest time to create videos and content strictly around his ability to break games. Johnny is notorious for breaking video games. There's been plenty of games that I've ran with him that I don't run anymore simply because he truly broke it. And to a point to where like some people can play the hell out of a game and still really enjoy it even in its broken state and run different mods and whatnot. Me, once I break a game or once I find a game's like absolute cheese function, I usually don't play it as much anymore because it's like not that the joy is gone, but the I'm guessing like the mystery is gone. The magic is gone if that makes any sense. Um
Mhm.
and so for me, because there's so many games I want to play and so many games I own and whatnot, I usually move on. But Johnny will destroy a game to its core. Johnny watched a trailer of a game and immediately thought of a cheese and a way to farm it.
A
A tr-
suspicion.
but it was probably pretty accurate, and I'm almost willing to buy the game just to see you do it. Like that's how confident I am in the situation. So, in saying all this, what way have you broken Stellaris? Like, what is the? Are you playing this? Do you forcefully not cheese it?
Kind of, but not really. Stellaris is one of those games where they offer multiple playstyles. Not in like the RPG, like you can pick between multiple classes.
Oh, let me
But
let
in
me
this,
clarify from Flazer. I'm sorry to cut you off. When I say break a game, I should have gave more background. He literally finds exploits. There you go. That's the proper term. He finds exploits in games very easily. I mean, Project Zomboid, within two playthroughs, we're staying in an upstairs. Um, we're in an apartment complex and we're living upstairs, avoiding monsters, and then we built ropes in order to go down and harvest material and come back, and then we built a whole facility and a base and destroyed the stairwells. And he just yeah. But what's crazy is I don't even think exploits is a proper way to use it. Because there's different things. Like he's not glitching.
yeah, I think the best way to describe it is that I try to find like the most optimum or like the strongest builds, etc.
Yes,
But not
that's that's
min-maxing.
that's probably the better way of saying it. Because I know I'm using all the wrong terms here, but I'm just trying to paint a clear picture. Long story short, Johnny Man 117 is pretty damn good at finding the most optimal way to destroy games. So continue, Johnny.
Uh, as I was saying, Stellaris, multiple play styles, not RPG. Just you get a couple classes, but like you get to play as like robotic civilizations that play completely differently than a regular species. You can have like a hive mind, and they play differently. You can be like a plant slash. I'm categorizing them into like one category here, but I believe there are some differences between them. There's a plant and a rock-based like civilization. Um, there's a lot of different ways to play, and when that happens, um, that means that there's a lot of modifiers being thrown around. Um, you can get like a plus 20% to, let's just say, energy production because your plants harvest the power of the sun. Well, if you stack that with a select few technologies and you know unlock one of the edicts, which is like a temporary boost, then look at that, you're producing like 200% energy. So that's the kind of stuff that I like to find. It's like not necessarily like, I've just broken, I'm sorry, not broken. I've just made just trivialized the game. That's the word I'm looking for. It's just kind of like a step ahead, but not two steps. I think that's the best way I can describe it. So,
Yeah, because it's not it for clarification. Johnny's not cheating. Like he's not cheating at the games. He's not you know freaking using kill commands and whatnot. Um, but it's just really interesting to see somebody like take a game, never played it before, and then within a few playthroughs is like, oh well, if we do this, we'll have max resources by the end of the night. Like what?
mhm.
Like this is the type of stuff that happens. Like
I'll give you a good example. I don't know if you remember, Baron, about me talking about MMORPG Tycoon 2.
yes.
Um, It's a very fun game, by the way. I recommend people at least look into it or watch a video of it just for the novelty. But it's as you can, it's as the name describes. You're making your own little MMORPG, and the way in that game they have you like upgrade the game, quote unquote, and you get like more abilities and unlock features and stuff. Is it scales off of the number of decorative items you place. And so the way I did that is because naturally it's like big trees or bushes and stuff, and they take up space. So they want you to buy more regions or whatever to fill out those decorative items. Like that's like the intended way to play, I think. But I found, for example, like bushes, a particular kind of bush, it doesn't have any of the clipping, or I'm sorry, not clipping. It doesn't have any of the uh I don't know what the term is, but basically when you're trying to put something down in a game and it turns red, like Fallout 4 style when you're building.
Oh, it doesn't have any of the failed. Like there's no limit to where you can place items.
Yeah. Um and I found one of the bushes had that. And so I was able to just spam with an auto clicker, uh just that bush being placed in the same spot over and over and over again. That saved space and allowed me to super upgrade my server or whatever. So stuff like that. It's not like I'm wall glitching and breaking the walls to reach hidden doors that unlock the end of the game like Oblivion. Do you ever remember that one?
Oh, can you break that one down? I didn't do any major exploits or anything when it came to Oblivion.
It wasn't so much of a glitch. Well, it was a glitch, but it wasn't like a cheating thing. The paintbrushes, as you may or may not remember, didn't have physics, so when you put them down, they just floated in the air. So what players would do is have they would create a little staircase of them, up to the top of the temple in the middle of the temple district of the Imperial City. The
Gotcha.
roof, nobody intended to have the player walk on the roof, so it's not like an actual texture. It's just like you can walk right through it. And if you walk through the roof, you fall down to the ground level again, and there's a door. Clearly not intended to be reached, but what's in the door? The final cutscene of the game. So
You're
in a
lying.
way,
You're lying.
yeah, no, 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 you can look it up. Um,
What? So see, this make I wonder how much hidden, how much like junk rooms and item rooms are hidden in games. Like, oh well, I don't want to go through. I can't delete this because it'll mess up code somewhere else. So where do we put it? Um, like I feel like every game has just like a area that's like locked down, that's either hard to get to or impossible to get to. That's just filled with like one of each item just to have the code in the game. I don't know.
yeah, I know Bethesda does that a lot with other games, which I'm sure other people do it as well. But I'm just familiar with the Bethesda examples, like in New Vegas. Whenever you're hearing like what's the term? Like I don't know, like a radio or a whatever.
Oh, like
Whenever you're
static,
hearing a
like
voice,
interference.
not interference, it's like whenever you're hearing someone talk through a radio to you or something like that, it's not actually just a random dialogue playing. So they put an actor or an NPC behind the walls and they have to word that dialogue to you. It's real crazy.
Oh, because because they don't have a way of just producing the audio to you without it being like a
Yeah,
song. So it's always an NPC talking to you.
yeah. Every
Hey,
time,
that's wild.
like the big Mr. House screen from New Vegas. Uh, I believe there's an NPC somewhere in the walls just talking to you, and the screen is just like a stand-in. But we're straying from Stellaris again. But what were we talking about? Powerful strats.
Yes.
Right now, the most powerful strat that I'm aware of is either being a robotic civilization that assimilates all of the um, biological civilizations you come across into like cyborgs that, like assimilate into your robot culture. That way you don't really have to build your own because it takes a while. Either that or you become like a super trade empire,
Oh.
and that way you create money and consumer goods, and you're able to have like a lot of diplomatic power. Um, those are the metas, I believe, but I could be wrong. I'm not huge on the multiplayer scene, but but yeah, that's what I've been playing recently, and that's what you watched me play yesterday. But if I'm not mistaken, you've also had a bit of interaction with a Paradox game recently.
Yes. Okay. So recently I just beat I want to say my first Paradox game. I recently beat Empire of Sin.
And how
Now,
did you find it?
so Empire of Sin, I actually was bored one day on Game Pass, and I was just scrolling through looking for different stuff, like just to try something completely new. And I was, in between waiting for new worlds, feeling like that weird feeling of like finishing a book or a game, and it's like, what do I do now? So I just downloaded some stuff, and I
Hmm.
ended up downloading Empire of Sin, and I finally played it, and my jaw dropped to the floor because the game is a freaking tactical turn-based RPG with the 4x mechanic of a Paradox game. So it has XCOM style combat, but it's also a 4x game. So what tripped me out about it was one, I'm a sucker for XCOM style combat, and then it even had like different decision choices you can make in terms of interacting with people. You got to set up trade agreements. You got to set up alliances. You also got to set up. You got to send people to jail. You got to put out hits. Like I could go to Al Capone and pay him extra to take somebody out. And then the generals, which are the people who would run around with you in the game, or who would like go and run your establishments and give them extra boost. Not only did they have their own inventories and their own stats and their own perks and negatives, but they also had, there was a layer where they had interactions amongst themselves. So you couldn't just go in and recruit the strongest people you could afford, because maybe this person didn't get along with that person, and you would have to think ahead. So like I would have to like pre-plan who I eventually wanted to get. I even had an issue in the game where a mob boss I went to fight and take over their area because they kept starting wars with me, and even I think they even paid like the feds to come in and invest one of my investigate one of my locations. But I went in and they had hired the lover of one of my bosses, one of my mob bosses.
Scandalous.
And so when I killed him, it ended up being like it lowered their morale with me.
Hmm.
And then I even had to the first person I ever recruited, they ended up becoming a snitch. And I ended up making a way to where I made like $100,000 off of them. So I could have killed them, but what I ended up doing was selling them, like, or made a trade for them to the people they were snitching to. I lost a little morale from my team, but or from my crew, but I ended up getting enough money to buy up every business in town. And it ended up like making all the difference. So winning that game, from what I understand, or at least the way I did it, was by killing every other major mob boss. So I killed them all, took all their bases, and I ended up being the only boss in the area. Now I don't I from what I seen from the achievements, because I played this on Xbox, I believe that's the only way to really win based on the achievements. Like all the achievements said, like, oh, beat the game with the take over with this character, or no, I think it just says win with this character. So who knows if there's another way to do it? But I didn't see any achievements like, oh, win by pacifism, win through making money. I think it, it's Empire of Sin. It's, I think the whole point is to be a mob boss and be as, violent as possible. And then it had a timer aspect to it as well, where it announced like when I won, what year and whatnot. And then at the end of it, I ended up becoming the mayor of Chicago.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, took like just completely took over. It's an interesting experience. Like if you got enough muscle and you play enough like tactical RPGs like I do, you could cheese it and win. Like just I ran with a lot of snipers, a lot of heavy hitting rifles, poison damage and or deep bleed damage on my automatic assault rifles. So I was like working my way through people's soldiers, or not soldiers, but their crews, and I was killing them pretty efficiently. Um, but I like the little missions, the interactions. You got to build relationships with people through the press. Like you can go and find somebody who works at the press, and you can grease them, pay them so much money, and they'll write a good report and about somebody, and then you get to raise your morale with that person, make deals. When you go to war, you can if somebody invites you to war, you can set the terms and what you want in order to be bought, to be an active partner in the war. And I had that work in my favor a bunch because I ended up taking over somebody's stronghold, their home base, and I didn't even have to really do anything because it was I didn't really fight I just kind of stayed off and made money, and then like you have to worry about the economy, the if you have too much violence in your neighborhood or if you get too much attention from the police. It was a true forex game. There was a lot of layers to it. Different type of alcohol you produce, transporting the alcohol, trading the different alcohol. Um, it's pretty trippy. So I will say I enjoyed myself and I would recommend it, especially like if you like either or, you know, like if you like tactical turn based RPGs or you simply like 4X games, it's definitely one to check out.
Man, that sounds like a pretty cool game. I will just ask, when's the FDR's anti-corruption DLC coming in?
Oh Lord. Right? Well, it's crazy because I had the FBI shut down at least one of my brothels and one of my speakeasies.
Not the speakeasy.
Yeah, they ended up like, so the way it works is when you zoom out, it does a big map. You know, it kind of zooms out and gives you a big area map, and you'll see like a bunch of badges, and that's like either cops or FBI, and they all circled around my buildings, like the two buildings that they shut down. Then you get a notice, and it gives you options, and based on your stats, it'll allow you to it'll show you what your chances are of being successful. So it'll give you like three options. It'll say, "Oh, just shut down the business until things cool off." You can do that. Um, try and bribe the local officials, and it'll tell you like if successful, this amount of time, you'll get this, you'll get that, you'll get plus renown and blah 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 blah. Or infamy, I forgot what the label of that your fame was. Or if you went down, and it would give you a third option like, oh, sacrifice one of your people and have them do time, like set up one of your folks, and that's actually an achievement in the game. I didn't do it on my first playthrough because I didn't know it was an achievement. If I'd have knew, I would have did it. But you get to like send one of your people to jail, and they take the fall for the building, and then you kind of shut down for a bit and reopen.
Man, talk about I think we all knew Fall Guys, but oh my gosh.
Yeah, seriously, you can definitely make somebody a fall guy. But what's crazy is like in terms of combat. So let's say I have two people who are in a relationship or have expressed that they like each other. If we're in combat and one of them either goes down or takes a lot of damage, it'll affect their lover in a different way. Whether it's they'll go into a rage mode. Like I had a guy who went like full sniper, like sniper elite, like just took his rifle without. I lost control of him, and he would just empty out his whole clip and just be taking shots at folks. Like I almost like wanted his the person of interest he was with to kind of take damage, just so he would do that because it was pretty OP. Um, but
That's
yeah,
very similar to when in XCOM when like the crew would just go berserk because like half the teams died.
yeah, or it would be a negative effect. Like they would, you would lose control, and sorry about that. But yeah, it has a. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen more negatives than positives. Like I've had a bad wipe, and of course I save scum because I don't have time to be sitting there doing hardcore Iron Man mode, and I don't got the time for that. So
Mhm.
when one of my run throughs on a mission, I was trying to take over somebody's base. Somebody chucked a grenade and like took out like two or three of my my party, and the rest of the party like completely lost it and started running away. So then it turned into like two people versus 13, and it was just of course
Oh
a
no.
slaughter. Yeah, and it was just a pure slaughter. My I forgot the name of my character, but he was one of the few black guys in the because you don't get to create a character, you pick from the list of mob bosses that they have available. And my
Hmm.
guy was he came from a long line of morticians, so he walked around in this like the mortician outfit with the top hat, and he just like real grim, and he had this ability, I want to say it was like Reaper's Delight or something like that, where he would take his pistol and he would just it takes a long time to activate too, but he would just keep shooting until he ran out of bullets. So I would make sure to always keep a pistol that had a lot of ammo in it, and whenever I'd activate it, I'd make sure I'm surrounded by low level enemies, because he would just keep going until he empties. So he's just dropping people, and it's some cool perks. Each mob boss has their own special abilities and perks.
Yeah. It sounds like the dude from Overwatch. Is his name just Reaper? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's Reaper. Yeah.
Where he's just like chucking pistols and just like, I don't know, 360ing.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't played Overwatch. It,
I
it
don't.
looks a little silly.
It. I played it. Not my cup of tea. But it's probably a lot different now than what it was. I think I played it when it first came out, but it's been a very long time.
Yeah, we play Rogue Company instead with the
Yeah.
one and only Fame N2K, who's running out of time on his battle pass.
Yeah, calling him out. Calling him out. Fame ain't never gonna finish that battle pass. I'm gonna put it out there on the record.
Oh, I actually have confidence in him.
I don't.
So, oh,
I think I'm
who's
just saying
calling him
this.
out now, huh?
I think I'm just saying it just to kind of light a fire under him. I wouldn't be shocked if he hit us up like, "Hey, we gotta run."
Yeah, like right after the show.
Right.
But I know what you're gonna be playing right after the show, and that
Oh,
is New World. Am I right?
okay. So I'm actually writing an article. I didn't get to really run New World like I really wanted to today, but I found a cool little spot that I'm writing an article about. And it's the Tres Campos farm in Monarch's Bluff, and of course I could be speaking like alien language to those who aren't playing New World, so you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. But there's a resource in order to craft clothing and bags and armor, and it's called linen. And the only way to get that is to get fiber, and the only way to get fiber in this game is to get to farm and harvest hemp. Now, for me, hemp has been a really hard item to consistently come by. Like
Mm-hmm.
even I mean I have resource maps open from different websites, all type of stuff, and I'm still like, not only do you got to compete with other players, but you have to compete with the system itself. Like, is it gonna spawn? Is it not? Is it, the timers behind it? I haven't got all that down to a T. But when it comes to hemp, I found a location where it pops up pretty regularly. So much so that I want to say I even did the math on it because I'm writing an article about it. I picked up 433 units of hemp in less than 10 minutes.
Oh wow.
Now, I think to make linen, it's like 3 units of hemp or fiber. I think it's either 3 units of fiber or four. So let's take that. Let's do a little math. Got my calculator.
Whilst
433.
he's doing that,
We'll
I
do
think it's
four.
important to say we're using this substance for purely creating clothing for our YouTube overlords.
Right? Right. He said y'all been speaking alien throughout the whole show. You good? That's funny. Hey, no, because a lot of, especially Paradox games, going back to the original title, they are very niche. That is not
Oh
for
yeah.
everybody. I don't. It's funny. I'm very. I don't like recommending stuff to people because one, it's your money, and I would hate for you to spend your hard-earned money on something that's just you just truly don't enjoy. That's why I always tell people when it comes to people like reviewers and whatnot, whether it's level one or anywhere else, find somebody who plays games similar to you do, and they feel similar to they have similar thoughts on games, on the same games you do. Like me, it's easy to find reviewers I trust because they play a lot of the same games the same way I do, and they have a lot of love for a lot of the same games that I do. So it makes it real easy to listen to them. When they say something's whack, doesn't necessarily mean I'm not gonna buy the game, but it makes it I can understand where they're coming from, and I can trust their opinion on it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Um,
it makes sense to me.
Now, when it comes to these games, they are very niche. You got to have a lot of time. The learning curve is very steep. But once you get a hang of it, and if you enjoy it, you're gonna be hooked because there's a lot to
Yeah,
do, and it's always like I play games like BattleTech, XCOM. Um, I mean, even with New World, New World is probably the one. The At this point, it's the MMO that I've spent the most time in. Like, and it's sad because it hasn't even been a full week yet.
we
um,
could have gotten you into Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I played it. It didn't grab me.
How long ago? It's a
Um,
totally different
Maybe
game.
like 5 years. It's probably about
Oh
5 years
God,
ago. Around the time that they had the drop of the twins.
Drop of the Twins. I don't remember that,
The
but
twin DLC or the twin
oh, right,
expansion.
right, right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, around
The
that time. That's the last
uh,
time I played it.
yeah,
But
man.
yeah, so the whole point what was I talking about cuz I went off on this
Paradox
tangent.
games being niche, and when
Yeah,
you think about it, it makes sense. They're Swedish in it. IKEA, very complex as well.
right? That store's sole purpose is to keep you in there.
I mean, like, I could sit there and look at Viebenborgen for half an hour.
I know I feel like I've came across a few people who only want to go to who only go to IKEA to get food.
Oh, yeah, I know someone like that does that as well. It's why?
Like they just that's what they go for. It's the food. Um, but I hmm what Flameser, I would actually recommend Empire Sin. Have you played XCOM? If you've played XCOM and you enjoyed that, or you enjoyed games like I mean, we can go down the list. BattleTech. I think it would be closer to BattleTech than it would be XCOM, simply because of the management aspect of it. I would recommend Empire Sin, especially if you have Game Pass. Oh, for sure. You know, I know we talk about Game Pass a lot here on at Level One Gaming, but most of us have memberships, and I know for me, it's saved me way more money because gosh, I can only imagine how many games I would have bought in between the time of having it because I know how I am. And even though I still buy games along the way, like I know I picked up all the DLC for Remnant, but that's never played XCOM, but I have it. I would say play XCOM, bro. It's definitely an experience, and it's lovely when you have a shotgun and somebody's one unit away from you, and you have an 86% chance of hitting them, and then you miss, and
Oh yeah, like
it's
blackness.
oh, point blank miss. Oh, but then you can land a 10% sniper shot from halfway across the map.
And insta
Um,
kill him.
yeah, an insta kill, insta headshot. I remember I would cheese
That's
the
what you
Overwatch
live for.
function.
Oh yeah, especially with was it the sniper that would double tap?
Yep, I would cheese the heck out of the Overwatch function because you get so outnumbered, especially in the new one in XCOM 2. You get really you run into some situations where it's just like, dude, not only do they got you in numbers, but they're specialty units. Like that's like even with now going back to Paradox Games and Empire Sin, when you're trying to take over somebody's stronghold and you're basically trying to take over their whole setup, their whole crew and everything, and all their businesses. Well, they have special units. Like they have people. What are they called? Not elite level henchmen. I think they're called
Or
like
like a lieutenant?
yeah, they're called like lieutenants, and they have like this grappling hook ability. They have high health, high shields, strong weapons, um, crazy movement speed. But the good thing about it is each boss only has one that I've came across, only one. But I've had some put me in some wild situations, like, oh hey, you're getting pulled across the map, like grappling hook, and just pull you out into the open, and they were the first one to attack, and then everybody else on their team gets to attack, and then you end up dying, or somebody tosses a grenade or some other business like that. Um,
Make
it's
that
yeah.
sound like Dying Light.
Oh God. Ugh. Dying Light. We got to get back to that. But do you have any? We're hitting the final moments. Um. Oh no, because we wanted while we're here, and I was mentioning New World, the graphics cards apparently getting destroyed.
Yes, inform us about that, because I feel like if you wanted to play New World, this is something to keep in mind.
Yes. So there's been, and this has been going on, I believe, since the some of the closed betas.
Hmm.
Apparently, New World has been like forcing graphic. I'm not a tech wizard, so take all of this with an extreme grain of salt and go do your own research, please. I'll make
Yeah,
sure to
we're not
link the
party to that.
video of the tech people that I trust, and I'll make sure to drop their link in the description, just so you know, because I'm probably gonna butcher all of this. Well, I don't know what's happening in the back end, but people's fans are getting cranked up to 100%, and their graphics cards are getting fried, and people are getting black screened. One guy had a clip of his GPU actually like smoking, and a lot of people have been arguing like, oh, software doesn't do that, but I guess there's a history of different software causing graphics cards to mess up. Now, not only is this an expensive problem, this is a problem that's really scary because graphics cards are hard to come by right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so at first, I'm not a graphics junkie, so even with the capability of running at max settings, I never do. I've been running at medium settings, and I've even like killed shadows for a lot of different things. A lot of time I've been running. Well, people who've been having the most issues, or where it's been most prevalent, is in the 30 series or the 3000 series of the Nvidia graphics cards. That's been the most reported and the most talked about in terms of New Worlds crashing it. Well, I don't have that. I have one of the older graphics cards. I know for me, I believe it's a 2060 Super or something like that. But I was real hesitant to continue playing the game because that would suck. Period. Like that's an expensive problem to fix, and not
Yeah.
only is it an expensive one, it's hard to come by. So it's not like I can just go to Best Buy and be like, "Hey, can you take this back?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we can take it, but who knows when we can get you another one back to you." Well, so what I did was took the advice of the video that I watched and some of the people that I've been running in with the guild or the company that I've been running with, because a lot of them are actually running with the 30 series cards, like they have the 3090s, and they're like boldly running, and I was like, you guys are crazy, but hey, what are you guys doing? And they're like, well, a lot of people are running capped frames. Like me, I'm running at, I believe I'm running at 30. I don't even think I'm running 60. I'm not a graphics guy. So if you guys have watched my streams in the past, I'm not running, like, heck, you can see the gameplay here. It's not at all the best that my computer could actually run. Well, back to the point. I'm running medium settings. I have my frames capped at my FPS capped at 30. Um, and I just keep a eye on my temperature and my fans. I haven't I haven't had it run hot or loud. That's one thing. Like I mean, even currently, I'm running it in the background as we talk, and I'm live streaming, and I have the stream up, and my computer's not even running loud. So just to kind of give you, or not running hot or hard, if that's that's what she said. But
Yeah, we don't. We bought our computers at the same time. I
yeah,
mean, it's not like the best on the market or whatever, but we have pretty decent rigs.
yeah, I have a decent rig. I can play any game that's out there. Um, I don't think there's any game I can't play. But for
Righteous
those
there.
who are yeah, for those who are listening and those who are thinking about playing it, that is something to take in mind. Please do your research. I know that's a common term phrase used these days in the worst possible way, but make sure to go out and so you can confidently play or confidently not play. Maybe you want to wait until this is an all clear type situation. I some people are like, well, was it? Is it that the game is running in a way that exposes an issue with the graphics cards? Possibly. Or is it just the game is an issue overall? That's possible as well. Nobody really knows at this point, but play it safe. I'm letting you guys know I'm playing it. Like I said, I'm currently have it running right now. I'm sitting on top of a roof in Trust Compost, avoiding the undead monster people. But to each his own. Be safe. Be smart. Do what's best for you. If it's not even remotely worth it, don't do it. Just to prove a point. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
See, and see, Baron makes a very good point. Do your research. However, whenever uh, in a lot of situations you hear that and you're like, no, I'm not gonna do that. In that case, if you're one of those people, listen to me and I'll tell you what to do. Just wait.
Yeah,
Don't chance it.
yeah. Seriously, seriously.
But yeah,
That
yeah.
yeah. Like I
Like I
mean,
say that in jest, but
like
actually, like, don't take the chance.
yeah, like I know for a fact if I had the 30 series, I would not be playing this game at
Man,
all. At
isn't it
all.
ironic that the Adeptus Mechanicus out there, aka the tech wizards that are like, oh my gosh, they're like, huh, I have the 3090. I've spent all this money. I'm like the superior gamer now, and now they can't play New World.
Right? I mean, funny enough, whenever there's anything new, it's always a major issue, especially when it comes to tech. Like I know a lot of people in the content creating community were like kind of warning, like, "Hey, don't update to the new Windows until you kind of find out if all of the programs you're using are updating as well." Like, because
Uh,
that's a huge thing. You don't want to make it to where all of your programs and the way you set up your streams or the way you record is completely null and void because those things aren't updated to be used by the new operating system. So like it just it's stuff like that you people really got to think about. But that's actually it for me.
yeah, we can close on some final thoughts I have, and
Got you.
that being in regards to like updates and stuff. My general, like I go to class for computer shiz while uh I'm not going to go into the specifics of what I'm learning here, but um the recommendation I've actually heard a lot is don't update for similar reasons. Uh Generally updates new new operating systems very buggy. Just like new game first weeks that somehow get a pass. Um Big conglomerates putting out software updates can go the exact same way. So I guess that means everyone's infallible at the end of the day, but just wait on that too. Don't do it unless it's necessary.
And that's wise words from Johnny Man 117. I'm Baron J67.
And I am Johnny Man.
This has been episode 8 of Starcross Gamers. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you, Flameser, and everybody else, Fame, everybody who stopped by. Make sure to like, subscribe. We have shows every day here at Level 1. Monday, we have 15 minutes of fame. Tuesday, we have Ready Play Movies. Wednesday, we have Double XP. Thursday, we have Take Two. Friday, we have Peak Game. Saturday, we have Ready Press Play. And Sundays is back with us at Starcross Gamers. Much love. Make sure to get all your news from lv1gaming.com. And really appreciate you guys, man. This is dope, and I'm glad we're doing this. Much love.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Take care, y'all.